Wir befinden uns gerade bei Disney Infinity 3.0 und neben mir sitzt Senior Producer Ryan Rothenberger, and you have been with Disney Infinity since like it started. If you look back at all these years with all these playsets and characters, can you share some of your fondest memories with us?
Sure. I mean, yeah, being on the project since the beginning has been an absolute joyride, to say the least. Some of the great memories I have is basically the first time I was able to play as Tinkerbell in Disney Infinity 2. So previously at Disney I worked for Pixie Hollow, and so Tinkerbell is really near and dear to my heart. So when I got to play her, that was a great time. The very first time I did the trench run in Disney Infinity 3, because I'm a huge Star Wars fan, I was kind of taken back to my childhood when I first saw the films, and that was just one of the best experiences I've ever had in video gaming in general.
And of course, at the time, since the new Star Wars film has been announced, it is a great crossover between Disney Infinity and Star Wars. And can you tell us something about, the experience of implementing this great franchise into your game? Because I think it's also a lot of discussions with Lucasfilm and so on. What can you do? What can't you do? What were like the tweaks here?
Yeah, no, so working with Lucas has been an absolute pleasure. It's always wonderful to work so closely with the people who own the IP and who hold the characters and more importantly their stories so near and dear to their heart. So things like Lucas asking us to make all of the Star Wars characters be able to be playable in all of the different playsets was something which was kind of a direct nod to what our fan base was asking for earlier, but for them it still made some sense because you were able to keep all of the people in the same franchise. Things like them having Darth Vader not really want to run, and because he's a Sith Lord and he doesn't need to hurry, just fun nuances like that are things that you always have to be kind of cognizant of, because sometimes it could change game design, but it's also great to get that piece of experience from those stakeholders, because that's what brings the authenticity to the game, and that's what people like you and all the other Star Wars fans are going to really feel and experience when you play the game.
I've seen characters from the original trilogy, I've seen characters from the prequel trilogy, and from a lot of Star Wars related media, can you see? But there is one character I have never seen in relation to Disney Infinity, and that's Jar Jar Binks. Is he really not gonna be in the game?
Well, we had a long discussions about whether or not to include Jar Jar as a playable character. They lasted about a minute and a half or so. But I can tell you that there might be an Easter egg hidden somewhere in one of the Disney playsets where you might find Jar Jar. I don't want to give too much away, but he could be in there, and it's a good Easter egg to find. And I'll be happy to tell you that when you do find him, you will be glad of what occurred.
When I watched the gameplay demo, I've seen that the Toybox looks a lot bigger. You can do more combos and stuff in the game that you could do in the previous Disney Infinity games. What do you think are the most important and incredible changes that you've made to the franchise?
Sure. Well, there's been quite a few. So we'll start with the inclusion of some great developers from around the world. So we brought Ninja Theory on board from the United Kingdom. They're a fantastic developer from Heavenly Sword, Devil May Cry, so they know melee combat better than almost anyone in the world. So what they did is they came on board, they began working on our Twilight of the Republic playset. They were the developer who worked on that one, and they completely overhauled our entire fighting mechanic system. So now there are multi-combos, air juggles, force finishing moves, so it added a depth of gameplay that had not been seen in the previous two versions at all. So now when you're playing with your children, it truly is a way for an experienced gamer like myself or you to enjoy the game, and your kid can sit there and tap the attack button and feel like he is making progress, or he or she is making progress. But then for me, I can explore the nuances of the new combo system and get a much better experience for me. Some of the other improvements we made are, like you said, in the Toybox hub. The Toybox was always a really large and expansive system that was tough to kind of sink your teeth into initially. So we tried to create a new tutorial system where you basically have individual guys, helpers, basically standing right there, and there will explain how to do platforming, how to do things like farming, or the sidekick system, which is another new system that we introduced, or things like our community system. So you're able to really kind of get pulled through the Toybox experience in a much more linear way, if you want. The other great improvements have been on our driving. So we have a new Toybox game called Toybox Speedway. You can use any character from Infinities 1, 2, or 3. You can also use pretty much any land vehicle that we've ever done. So motorcycles, cars, speeder bikes from our stuff now, and that's where you get some hilarious combinations. Chewbacca riding on the top of a Muppets car where he has to sit on the roof, being chased by Donald Duck on a speeder, right next to Tinkerbell driving in the teacups from the theme park. So those are just some of the new improvements, but it's I would be talking to you for 10 hours if I told you about everything that we were doing, but those are some of the real good highlights.
And you mentioned one thing, I just stumbled across this word. You said farming. Can I really turn Darth Vader into a farmer in this game?
Well, to a certain degree, as part of the sidekick system, you have to plant plants and vegetables and that sort of thing, and that is what you feed your sidekicks to do to boost up things like their health or their attacking ability or their farming ability or their building ability. And yeah, if you want to, and sometimes weeds grow in your farm, and if you need Darth Vader out there to lightsaber down some weeds, he can do it. He can cut down sunflower seeds and feed them to his sidekicks as well.
Force choke weeds?
I don't think you can force choke the weeds, but that would be a good improvement for sure.
And the next best thing about Star Wars is there is a new movie coming out.
Yes.
Let me phrase this question correctly. I guess if you do a playset, and let's say if you do a playset based on the new movie, you are going to follow like new characters and new elements from the story. So what exactly is going to be the story of your playset?
I honestly can truly say that I have no idea. We have been under such tight wraps for that film and our playset that even I, as one of the most senior people on the production team, haven't seen the script. I haven't even seen the playset. Only the specific developers who were chosen at Avalanche to work on the playset, and even the QA testers, like we kind of handpicked. We had to put them in isolation rooms. It is truly like a lockdown across the board things, which is great for me because being such a big Star Wars fan, nothing is spoiled. So I can walk into the movie theater like you or anyone else and see the movie for the first time and be wowed, and then come home and play the playset and experience the new characters in a whole new way.
So Ryan, I say thanks a lot for talking to us und euch Dankeschön fürs Zuschauen.